Hey everybody, Matumbo here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we are playing some more Historic here on Magic Arena. And we have a deck that is pretty much a deck that just, I feel like, should not exist either in Standard. And this deck doesn't exist in Standard, but it also should not exist in Historic for multiple reasons that we will get into. But before we get into that, real quick, as always, before we hop into the deck, please, if you enjoy the channel, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. Check out all the cool links down in the description below and let us know in the comments what you want to see in a future video, and we will do our best to make it for you. So let's hop right into today's deck. And we are playing Genesis Retreat. So this deck right here is, with the exception of a very, very few cards, is Standard legal, but we're playing Historic. Yeah, again, there are cards in here that are not Standard legal anymore. They never were Standard legal while they've been on Arena, but this deck is almost this deck can almost be played in Standard. I wanted to play this deck because of the fact last week when Uro got banned. Again, Uro, 3 mana, 6/6. When it enters a battlefield, sacrifice it unless you actually escaped it from your graveyard. When it enters a battlefield or attacks, you get to gain 3, draw a card, put an additional land in your hand from the battlefield. This card, when it was first printed, everybody knew that this was super overpowered. Should have gotten banned immediately. But what they did is they let it sit in Standard long enough for a whole other set to come out, and actually 2 sets. And then they finally said, okay, well, let's go ahead and get rid of it. This card's too powerful. Unfortunately, they did that at a time when we had other cards that were just introduced with Zendikar Rising, one of them being a reprint in the form of Lotus Cobra, but then another one in the form of Omnath, Locus of Creation. So we've seen different versions of Omnaths before, but this is another card that probably needs to go, at least in conjunction with as much ramp as there is in Arena, not just in Standard, but in Historic especially. There's so much. So Omnath, Locus of Creation is a 4 mana, red, green, white, blue, 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Really not too bad when you think about it. However, it has a landfall ability. Whenever a land enters the battlefield for the first time, you gain 4 life. For the second time that turn, you get 4 mana. And for the third time, it deals 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. So you can see how this could potentially spiral out of control. Especially if you happen to generate the mana, play another one, generate the mana again. There's just so many different ways to really just buff this out as quickly as possible. And then the way he triggers, it just kind of can just, again, we're just gonna be basically throwing our deck up on our opponent and just saying, here's all of our cards. Like we're just gonna open our hands and say, here you go. Like this is our deck, and you can't do anything about it. But again, it's really thanks to Lotus Cobra, all the ramp cards, and Omnath, and again, Genesis Ultimatum. Genesis Ultimatum is one of our payoffs. It's a 7 mana spell. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield, and then the rest into your hand, and then you exile this. So for 7 mana, we're putting everything from our deck into play, and then if it happens to be a spell, it just comes to our hand like we draw it. So there's really no downside to this. We're always going to be getting 5 cards, whether they go into play or into our hand. We obviously want more of them to go into play than into our hand, but I mean, you know, them's the breaks if it happens the other way around, but it's really not going to happen that way. So what our deck does is it ramps, and it ramps, and it ramps, and it ramps. So we have 4 copies of Explore, 4 copies of Growth Spiral. Again, I don't think both of these should be in Historic. Luckily, they weren't both in Standard, but obviously this Growth Spiral was too powerful, you know, in conjunction with Uro. So, you know, they did something about that. But again, in Historic, I don't think either one of these should really belong. I don't think there's a place for these in Historic, and it's because they really replace themselves. If it was just 2 mana, put an extra land into play, I feel like that would be fine. But the fact that they each replace themselves, they draw a card, I think that's just a little too powerful. Again, Lotus Cobra, 2 mana. Whenever a land enters a battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. So it's going to be it's going to be doing a lot of replacing themselves. So if we have Lotus Cobra in play and we start playing extra lands, those lands really are either going to be free. They're not going to really cost us any mana. These spells aren't, because that mana is going to get, we're going to get it back with Lotus Cobra. And if we have multiple Lotus Cobras in play, then we're actually going to be netting mana. So we also have 3 copies of Cultivate to get extra lands as well. And you can see where this is going. So then we have 4 copies of Escape to the Wilds. This is a 5 mana spell, but we're going to exile the top 5 of our library. We get to play an extra land this turn. And then we get to cast those spells that are exiled through this turn and then the following turn. Really powerful. And we also have 3 copies of Felidar Retreat. This is another just ridiculous card. It's really good. Whenever land enters the battlefield, you get to choose either to make a 2/2 or to put one +1/+1 counter on each of your creatures and give your creatures vigilance that turn. So that's really ridiculous. We have 1 copy of Kenrith, because we could potentially give all of our creatures haste if we have a lot of stuff enter the battlefield. We have 3 copies of Phylath, World Sculptor. This is a 6 mana 5/5. When it comes into play, we're going to get a bunch of 0/1s equal to the number of lands we have in play. And then our landfall ability is we get to put 4 1/1 counters on 1 plant. So again, if you can see that if we have like 10 land in play, we're going to get 10 0/1s. And then as we start playing more lands, each of those lands is going to permanently become +4/+4, and it's just going to overrun our opponent. So that's really going to bring us to the big payoff. So we have this in play. We might Genesis Ultimatum. We might hit a bunch of land. We give all of those plants at that point +1/+1 for each land that gets hit. And then each one of those land gets hit. We get to give +4/+4 to one of our plants. And then we get to potentially maybe even hit a Craterhoof Behemoth and give all of our creatures +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures we control, and they get trample. And it's ridiculous because they're all going to be like 20/20s, and we're just going to win. So we are playing Yorion. There's really no reason to not be playing this, since we are playing 80 cards in our deck. I do want to point out we're playing 34 lands, a bunch of different lands, because we are playing 4 colors. But we are playing 5 of the Bolt lands, the dual flip modal lands here. We have 2 copies of Turn Timber Symbiosis. This will let us look at the top 7, take a creature, put it into play. And then we have 3 copies of Seagate Restoration. This lets us draw cards equal number of hands in our cards in our hand, and then we have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. So 34 lands, 39 lands if you count these, and we have so much ramp and so much mana production that it's going to be pretty sick to see what this deck can do. And again, I wanted to play this to show everybody that yes, they may have dealt with this for a little while in Standard, but this is still in Historic, and this is still very prevalent. We're going to be seeing a lot of this probably in Competitive as well as regular. Rebel Chip obviously wants to play, but unfortunately we are recording right now. We're going to be hopping into some games. So Rebel Chimp, you happen to catch us at a bad time. So, but hey, you get to be in the video now. But with that being said, let's hop into the gameplay and see just how ridiculously broken this combination of cards is. And let's see if Wizards is going to take this into consideration and start throwing down the ban hammer on Historic as they should. So, all right, let's hop into the gameplay. See you guys soon. All right, well, let's play with all of the unfair cards in Standard, but in Historic. And let's see what happens. Boom, boom, boom. Come on, let's have an opponent. There we go. Taji 10. Welcome to the game. You are our first opponent. Wish you all of the luck. Yeah, I mean, we keep this. We're gonna play this Clifftop Retreat first. Oh, look at that, a red deck. Looks like they have a shock. Yep. That's fine, we still have an Explore. Deck are you playing, my friend? And we're just gonna go ahead and go get. We're just gonna go ahead and go get our island right now. Oh man, on that aggro plan. Right. Well. Unfortunately, don't have a land to play from our hand. These don't really synergize that well with the flip lands. Okay. You are... Oh, that's why. Okay. What do we need here? We need a lot of things to work out. 2 to the top. That's kind of dangerous. So... if we play this, gives us 2 more land. And then we can, if we play this, so we'll enter tapped. We'll choose green. We'll play another one of these bad boys. I think it's fine there. No attacks. Oh, we can't because Lotus Cobra's on that non-haste plan. All right, Lava Coil number 2. Another artist or arcanist. We take 5 or a 19. Okay. So blue. Oh. Why would you quit? We hadn't even done anything yet. And then we're getting this visual glitch for this. We're not actually playing ranked. I'm just letting you guys know. This is a visual glitch that pops up sometimes from time to time whenever we're playing non-ranked games. So you might have experienced on your end, but it's been a while since we've experienced. So, all right, well, going into the next game, game number 2. Gonna do that hydration thing. Can't really determine if these cards should be banned yet because I haven't really got to see them, but things were going to get out of hand if our opponent had not conceded, so... Ooh, we go first. Don't hate this hand. We're going to keep. I don't hate it. Well, we're going to be taking 3 here. If Lotus Cobra lives, we get to cultivate. Yeah, we're gonna go green here. Blue. I mean, that actually does kind of change up what we're gonna do. It's pretty unfair. We did a lot of stuff that turn. Next turn, we actually get to play this Genesis Ultimatum if the Cobra lives. That's pretty ridiculous. Ah, Boo earns. Boo earns. Well. Yeah, let's go and make another one. I don't really think it matters. I mean, if they have a Cry of the Canarium, because I think they're going to just have a kill all the tiny creatures here. I don't think they have a Cry. They either have a Languish. Oh, Nicol Bolas? Blue, blue, blue. Yeah, let's just make these bigger. Yeah, I mean, we're going to swing in. Again, as you can see, this is a pretty unfair board state. Yep. So, good example of what our deck can do, what it's supposed to do, and why some of these cards being legal is not a good idea. So, yeah, so I feel like we're just going to see a lot of that. A lot of landfall, not land falling, but land ramping into just infinite value. And we only had one Omnath before we built this deck. And I felt like Omnath's going to get banned anyway eventually, so it's a safe pickup. Because you'll get refunded it anyway, but don't do that just because. This is really just what I'm thinking about. God, this would be really good if we hit a forest, but we can't keep it. Well, that doesn't make green, unfortunately. Alright, we're gonna have to be faster than goblins. And it's possible. So they could just have their cycler here. No. That's a good attack. No tax. So next turn we get to cultivate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hmm. 1, 2. Yeah, I wish we had something crazy to do here. We potentially lose here, though. Here comes Muxus. Oh, Chieftain. Okay. The Snoop. Okay. We actually get cast this no matter what. Green, green, blue, 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 red, red. Yep. Have to take a block like that, right? See what we get. Seems pretty good. Can't attack with them this turn, so we'll keep this Evolving Wilds up. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they could Muxus this turn. The question is do they Muxus? I don't think they do with that land showing there. All right, so we put in 2. We messed up. We missed out on a damage. We missed out on a damage. Missed out on a damage. I could have also played Yorion too. Yeah, we missed out on a lot of damage this turn. And we're attacking for potentially lethal here anyway. I think we're good. So 6, 10, 14. Yeah, we would have won had we played the... We're going to leave enough to gain 5 here. They can still win. Okay. Block. 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 Yep. Oh, we out-goblined goblins. Yeah, we should have won that last turn. And I completely understand that if we would have played Yorion, we should have played our Kenrith first, then Yorion. Then we should have played our land to pump everything. And then we should have sacked our land to pump everything. And then we would have had 1 mana left over. We could have given everything haste. Yorion would have gotten in for at least an additional 6. And the game would have been over. And it wouldn't even have been a concern. But again, new to the deck. And the deck is so powerful, filled with all these crazy cards, that it doesn't really even matter. Okay. That was weird. That was super weird. We got disconnected while we were trying to connect into a game. Okay. We mulliganed our first hand. We are waiting to see who goes first. We're going to keep this, and we're going to put back... God, I don't want to put this back. This has a lot of good potential here. But I think we have to. We're a lot more likely to cast Escape to the Wilds right now than we are the Genesis Ultimatum. And then at the same time, we're going to be reshuffling it anyway, and we could potentially hit the Genesis Ultimatum off of the Escape to the Wild. So this art on this Lotus Cobra is really, really cool looking. Definitely reminds me of some tattoos. We're gonna pay life here, just in case. Oh man, cultivate. Nothing says nothing tells you how broken a format is when somebody sees a Lotus Cobra and you cast cultivate and you concede, because again, these cards, there's just way too much of this in standard and in historic. So remember, what I've done so far is just standard, even though we are playing historic. But the cards that I cast and the cards that I used, other than the Temple Garden that we played, is all standard legal cards. And again, very indicative of what people's feelings are in with the health of the different formats. We go first. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep this. Oh, well, hello. Let's go get us a forest, please. Oh, perfect. Let's just play an additional land. Next turn we get to Uro, maybe? Oh, man. You know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna go get a mountain, and we're gonna cast this Omnath. Okay. That kind of scared me for a second. Oh, I like it. I like it. This is gonna get crazy. Okay, okay. Ooh, Lotus Cobra. All right, let's see what crazy shenanigans we can get into. We're gonna say green. Maybe we should have just played that tapped. We're gonna say blue, green. And we're gonna say blue. Oh, we're doing all of the things right now. Green. Right? That's kind of nutty. I mean, we're at 27. They're probably going to put a crap ton of counters on this Wildborn Preserver this turn. Oh. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, my friend. We have enough in the graveyard. Could slam this. Play this. 6. I think we're just gonna play this. 1, 2, 3, 5. One, 2, 3, 4. Boo. Now this is kind of a disappointing cast of this. Pretty good. We play here. No, we can't even play the Cobra anyway. Now we're not going to swing in to a 6/6 protection from multicolor. This might become like a 20/20 this turn. Oh, nice. Vivian's Arcbow. Nice. So this is actually a really huge draw here. This Lotus Cobra is essentially free. Blue, green. Yep, we are going to go ahead and no attacks. We're in a pretty good spot, but they're in a very, very scary spot for us. This Arcbow is going to deal. Is basically going to put 4 counters. This is going to become a 8/8. This is going to be a 4/4. This has reach. So we're going to have to go wide with this Craterhoof Behemoth. We have to hit a... We have to hit a Genesis Ultimatum into Craterhoof and Kenrith, but I feel like it's very doable at this point. So it's gonna be a 10/10 and an 8/8. Really good. Oh, I would have done these two. I still don't think they can attack yet. Do we have enough damage to force through for lethal next turn? What to say? I think they lose if they attack. Makes green. All right, so they have 3 blockers. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Everything's gonna get plus. Yeah, this is lethal. All the damage. And I do feel like they, or we per se, we actually shouldn't have used all of our Seagate reclamations that early on. We probably could have slowed it down a little bit, but sometimes you don't know what you're getting into. Oh man, still killing it. This tech again. Oh, this is a very clever name. I like it. Juan with nothing. So this is really borderline, but I think we have to move. Return a card. This is a really good payoff. I have a feeling we'll just be reshuffling that anyway, so we should be fine. Alright, Triome. This is going to be a hard match. They're going to have tons of removal. They'll probably have... They'll probably steal our Lotus Cobra and sack it to draw cards. Oh, goodbye, Uro. I guess now this Lotus Cobra doesn't seem like as much of a threat. We're not just going to bring the Yorion back right now because we don't want the Yorion to get discarded. So we're just going to let that go. All right, well. Blue. Yeah, we're not going to play the island. I don't. Maybe we should have. No, we're good. Okay. All right. Well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Let's see if they lure us into Croxa, which doesn't really do anything. Having an Uro in play is great. I mean, they definitely dismantled our hand pretty well. Okay. Could Mogus's favor here? We're actually going to discard the Yorion if they bring back the Croxa. I really want them to question what we have in their hand and make them have something to remove it. Oh, nice. It's pretty good. Definitely kill this Laris off. Well, we don't want to miss. What's better? Making them have an answer, right? They don't have anything right now. How crazy would an untapped land be here? Well, not really an untapped land. If they want a Croxa here, it's going to be a... Wow. Pretty good, my friend. Pretty good. Off the top, innocent blood. Wow. I wish we could see what we were going to draw first. It replaces itself. Well, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I guess it's not that big of a deal since we only have one card in our hand. I think it would have been worth it to actually cast the Mogus on that. Oh, there goes Uro. Let's just draw another Uro. Let's show him what's up. Cultivate. Only take one to draw here. Yeah, they should have done that a lot sooner. Okay, we're at 9. We're at most likely dead next turn. Huh. 11. God, we're literally 1 damage off. 1 damage off. Oh no, I miscounted. 13. Wow. Oh my god, how lucky is that? How lucky is that? Oh my gosh. Whew, how lucky is that? Well, I bring to you the final boss. The finalist of bosses. And again, this is, you know, partially because these cards are really, really crazy to interact with, and it's not really all that fun to do. So we're gonna keep. What are we gonna put back? I don't want to put back any of these cards. I think it's right to put that back. Could have argued that it was right to put this back, but we're gonna go get an island. Looks like this might be a colorless deck. So next turn we can put down a Beladar Retreat. They don't even have a Mind Stone here. So if we hit a land, we get to play both. That was really good. Probably the best land we could have hit. So we're probably going to see a mana rock here for 4. Now, do we want to add an additional 3? Or if we draw a land, it'd be really good. That's actually pretty. And we're going to add a white. Probably the best thing we could have hit right there. And yeah. Wow. That Fabled Passage was literally the best thing we hit. We go get all the mana. I don't think we can Genesis Ultimatum this turn. This adds a blue. Sack. Yeah, actually we could have. Okay. Woof. So yeah, so when this comes into play, this is going to add a blue. So we have 3 blue. We sack it. We go get a green. And then when it comes into play, we can make a red. And then Omnath is going to give us one of each color. And then we have enough to Genesis Ultimatum. And then we Genesis Ultimatum, we hit who knows what. And that is the end of that game. So, wow. That was literally probably the best card we could have hit when we played that Omnath. So, sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the wrap-up. And, I mean, what can we say? We did exactly what we thought we were going to do with this deck. And we went 7-0. And, yeah, this deck is pretty dominant. We should have lost one of the games, but again, we top decked, and I think it's only fair that we won that game. They had a pretty explosive hand disruption draw They got us down pretty good. But however, we kind of, they depleted their hand doing that. We managed to get an Uro into play. They had no cards in their hand. They top decked an Innocent Blood, and then, to make a sacrifice the Uro, and then they were able to play a Croxa, and they were kind of just getting into us every turn, and all we had out was an Omnath, and luckily we drew Craterhoof Behemoth, and we were able to get in just enough damage to kill them on the turn before we would have died. So yeah, so pretty crazy. It's only fair they top decked, we top decked back, and our top deck seemed to have been a little bit better because it ended up winning us the game. But as you could see, this deck does a lot of unfair things. We misplayed against goblins. We should have won the turn that we had that big attack. We did catch it right as we were doing it, but unfortunately can't really like takesy backsies on Arena really easily. You can really only do that if you're playing like Kitchen Table Magic or an opponent who, like at FNM or something, where you're trying to learn and better yourself. Typically stuff like that can fly, but unfortunately in Arena doesn't let you just take back. So no, like I said, no takesy backsies. But yeah, everything in this deck serves a purpose. Again, Uro is a ridiculous card. I feel like, again, and I know how ridiculous that this might sound to some people, but if I'm looking at cards, this whole row, I think should be potentially should be banned. However, I can make a case to not ban Lotus Cobra if these are banned. Just the ability to put so much extra land into play in Historic is ridiculous. And again, Growth Spiral and Explore would not be as powerful and as broken as they are if they did not both say at some point in their card text, draw a card. Because at that point, you're not only ramping yourself and advancing your board state, you're also replacing the card that is advancing your board state, and it's almost not fair. Again, if it was just 2 mana, you can play an additional land this turn, completely fine. It still would be a little unfortunate that 4 of these would be in play, but it's not as busted as something like a Rampant Growth or something. If Rampant Growth was in Arena in like a Historic format, that would be really busted. And hopefully they don't ever make the mistake and actually push Rampant Growth into Arena or into the Historic format. It'd be fine if it was on Arena at some point in in an older format, but not in Historic. But yeah, I think everything else in here is great. This deck is super unfair, again, because of these cards over here. And yeah, this deck really doesn't even need Yorion at all. We can just play 80 cards without Yorion, and this deck is fine, because we really don't ever really want to bounce or exile anything and bring it back into play, maybe except for Phylath and Craterhoof Behemoth. But at that point, you're already winning the game anyway, so that's it's a win more card. But again, let me know what you think about this. Do you think Wizards should look at banning a bunch of cards in Historic as well? I'd be very interested, if you're still watching this right now, to let me know if I should do a video on what cards I feel like should be banned in Historic in order to make the format better and more fair, not as ridiculous. But yeah, just let me know what you think down in the comments below. But if you enjoy the video, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, that bell icon. Check out all the cool links down in the description below. Check out the Discord and the Patreon if you don't mind. And yeah, and again, like I already said, leave a comment down below. So with that being said, everybody, please stay safe. We'll see you next time. Remember, this channel would not exist without such amazing viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for interacting with the channel and helping grow the community. And a very big special thank you to the Patreons listed here for supporting the channel.